We're gonna go to part two of this. So you gotta look at this. Booker T, Lashley, Bobby who? Kofi lost in what was that? 21 seconds? Big E cashed it in. Mark Henry. Look at Mark Henry. You gotta pay attention to Mark Henry, why he never came back to WWE. He was humiliated. The same man running the company right now, Mr. Triple H, triple bum, triple whatever, triple bad booker. This guy came out with the doing a monkey dance to Mark Henry. This is who owns the company. Triple H is the same guy when you had the Nation of Domination, the joke, the parody of the Black Panther Party, came out with an afro with a blackface. This is the same man running the company. You want to realize why there are no black champions? Because we, they, you don't fucking matter. See, this is the result of them watching the crowd and watching the numbers divided by race and seeing that black people will go anyway. It doesn't matter. This is a reflection of us. It doesn't matter that we get 7 black champions in 74 years. We're still going to go. We're still going to watch. No, I'm sorry, y'all. Because you got to be a fucking mark to submit and give to a program that shows we don't give two damns about you. We don't care about you. We don't care about, oh, we cried over R-Truth. He came back, cut his braids, where he's been since. Gone. One backstage segment. 1 or 2 with Cena. Look at Brock Lesnar. Look, this is another thing. Why is there always a bowl full, a bucket full, a well full of old washed up white stars? AJ Lee, CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes. Brock Lesnar. But there's never enough room for people like Oba Fay and Trick Williams. See, you got to look deeper. Sasha made him look bad. She left and became global. Trinity submitted and became pregnant. Who won that match? Sasha makes $10 million a year. Trinity's laying on her back getting things up in them sugar walls. Yeah, them back shots probably are amazing. But her career's over. She's done. It's finished. There will be no black male champions. Look at NXT. NXT's the hood. NXT is 34th Street on Baltimore Ave. SmackDown is like 23rd Street. Raw? Oh, that's Wall Street. That's the big boys. That's where the investors. Why you think for 1 hour of every Raw, you're going to hear about 97 ads? You're going to hear the announcers talk about 30 ads. You're going to see 90 ads. You're going to see, it's ridiculous. And they charge $30. Because them ads got to make their money back. That's the point. See, it's the same thing. You got to look at the correlation of the reason why they raided Stream East in Egypt exactly 3 days before the NFL season. Because you fucking dumb motherfuckers gonna go through FOMO, bug out, and give all the money. There will be no more black champions. R-Truth humiliated his whole life. Cut off his braids. And what did they do? See, there is no such thing as black champs no more. A black male champ, sorry. See, I'll say it again. NXT is the hood. SmackDown and Raw are corporate America. Now, in America, what happens when corporate looks at the hood? What's going on up there on Wall Street? You see one every couple of thousand? Maybe one every 600? That's WWE. The same man that made monkey impersonations of Mark Henry, the same man whose father-in-law said the N-word in front of this house coon Booker T, the same man who put on a black face and a wig with black curly hair depicting black people is in charge. You think he's changed? You think power made him better? Look at this. Seth, Tiffy, Becky. We already know Elia Valkyrie's gonna win. The Wyatt 6. You have one type on top all the time, all salt, no pepper. But you have pepper reporters. You got Big E and Booker T sitting there looking stupid with tight ass suits on, talking about AEW is hilarious and it's not good wrestling. How do you fall for this? They are paid to hate everything. This is their job. You think if you worked for Taco Bell and Taco Bell went on Twitter and found out that you said that their food tastes like dog shit, if I don't know what that tastes like, but it tastes like dog feet, they gonna keep you as an employee? That's no different than this WWE. Y'all took it to real life like it's real, but the underlying fact is that a man who made multiple racist incidents, was involved in racist situations, a man whose father-in-law dropped the N-word on national TV is in charge. You think Stephanie thinks any different? You think Shane thinks any different? Look, Linda's in charge of Linda McMahon. She's in politics. Look at the state of it. Ever since Trump came, everything's been stripped of black and brown. You got to look at America and look at what's going on with WWE. It's a purging. They purged all dark-skinned champions, except the house niggas like Booker T, Big E, and Trinity. Look at Tiffy. Look at Tiffany Stratton. Horrific on the mic. Bad. We're talking about bad. The girl doesn't defend her title at all, ever. She's never on TV. She's never in promos. She's never in the ring. Everything she does is backstage with storylines in front of her. People call her the GOAT. A one-time champion. You know why? Because WWE is America. WWE is corporate America. WWE is Wall Street America. And what do you see at Wall Street? Not many black folk. What do you see riding around getting taxis quick? Not many black folk. When you look at WWE's boardroom, what do you see? One black person, and he's really light-skinned. It's like they purged anything dark and left them in NXT. And anybody, now look, we're going to do this shit. Check this shit out. We're going to do this shit. We're going to go, look, Athena, they fired her too. 1,000 days, right? We're going to do this. We actually going to do this. Let's see, WWE. Look at this. Cody Rhodes has had multiple matches. These are the people that make WWE think that they're good. Without AEW, we all thought it was cool with WWE. We thought WWE that's where it's at. That's where we need to be. And then AEW came along. And we realized that WWE moves in slow motion. Like southern bumpkins move in slow motion. So now you have no black men at all in the title picture for WWE. Oberfay will be down in NXT for the next, until the Royal Rumble. He'll come up, he'll lose, he'll get, even though this dude, even Montez Ford, Chad Gable, Oberfay are the 3 best wrestlers on your roster. Why the fuck are white folk happy paying for Seth? Because he's not black. Who will Lauren and Bobby Joe Sue and Sarah and Linda and Lauren look up to if you had Jade as a champion? And Naomi. They had that right there, gold in their hand. What did they do? They dropped the ball. They put the 2 black women against each other for months. About a year. With Bianca. Where's Bianca? Gone. Somehow Jacqueline is an old white woman from 1964. So once again, you have to step back at WWE and look at WWE and say USA. Look at Trump. Trump, all white folk with that one black guy in the back. WWE, all white folk with that one black chick in the back. Trinity. Except she got knocked up right when her championship reign was going to go. Seems a little planned, like it was timed that way. Seemed like it was supposed to go that way. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm saying open your eyes and look around you. Black people don't own any news stations, any radio stations, any TV stations. WWE has no black people on any power. None at the top. They're all at the third show in NXT. Lash Legend should have been a champion a year ago. She came to the Royal Rumble and dominated. Guess what? Never heard from again. Will Oberfay be at the Royal Rumble? He might, but you'll never hear from him again. Trick Williams, these dudes will come in and look like gold and somehow be back at NXT 3 days later and we'll never hear from them again. But Mariah May will come up. See? Why is Penta on the main roster? Why is Penta and his brother on the main roster? WWE hoarded all of the talent, right, for 4 years and then saturated wrestling by putting on 62 shows a week. And they all in the same. Nothing happens. So 3 weeks ago, CM Punk got beat up by one girl. Then he got beat up by another girl. Then Becky low blows him. Now AJ Lee. Wow, predictable. So predictable. Wow. I didn't think that would ever happen. AJ Lee back in WWE after her pipe bomb on the female thing, after CM Punk's pipe bomb on the male thing, after what CM Punk said in AEW. Look, they both as real as $3 bills. They fake. They are fake. Look at Zelina Vega. She was all over social media with that belt. She lost that belt. She went quiet. They only gave her the belt to get her husband back. Now they got her husband back. Look, nothing. Anything connected, anything remotely supportive of black is buried on Twitter and WWE on Twitter. I have asked 50 questions. Look at this shit. I want y'all to see how sensitive WWE is. Look at this. You know why they did this? Because I went on WWE's Twitter page and said, I'm confused. If your fan base isn't biased, why are they not asking for Oberfay? This dude looks like a finishing character in a fucking video game. Yet he's in NXT doing the Ricky Saints move. A dude that couldn't be a champion in AEW. Why are you imitating garbage? This dude is way beyond anything on the main roster. Will he be up? So look what happened. Look at what they did to me, right? Hold on, I'm going to light something real quick because it's middle of the morning. It's about 3:03 a.m. over here. Over there, it's 3. It's about 9 a.m. here. So we got about 4.5 hours difference, right? So look what they did, right? They got Oberfay imitating nothing. They limit me. Inauthentic behavior. You know what Twitter calls inauthentic behavior? Asking why. Asking why. How come you fired Shelton Benjamin, Bobby Lashley, kept Akira Tozawa, a man who's won 2 matches in 10 years? How come you fired Shelton Benjamin, Bobby Lashley, and Ricochet, but kept Karrion Kross? Karrion Kross? You kept Karrion Kross over Ricochet? Because his wife got fake boobs and they stick out. They look weird. They look really, really weird. You fired Ricochet over Karrion Kross? See what I'm saying? There's a bevy of white folk, old, bad. Even if they're trash, WWE will find a way to make you like them if you're that shade of color. But if you're black, they leave your ass at NXT. You see about them on Twitter and YouTube. You never see highlights about NXT and Oba Fay and what he's doing on Raw and SmackDown. But I get to see TNA, Joe Hendry, because he's yet what? Another white guy. See, have you put it together? WWE has no use to make a black person champion. You know why? Because black people gonna still come and white folk ain't never complain. You complained about R-Truth because he's a house coon. He run around making jokes. I mean, okay, you know I'm wrong. R-Truth is a national treasure. I love him, but why didn't he demand better? They had him running around with that girl with the weird fake boobs. The one that got pregnant by Corey Graves. Carmella, she was trash. She had that boring finishing move with her legs. Trash. Even when her boobs came, yeah, it looked good. You got boobs, but you still trash. Why you think Jade is trash? Because they took the baddies. You remember AEW? I'm that bitch. They took the baddies away. Who's left with Jade? Just Jade. And what do we see? Nothing. Remember Jade's first match? She came in Royal Rumble, hit her head, ain't been in the same sense. It's like it knocked the AEW out of her, and she became irrelevant. WWE will hire these black women and bury them for 2 years. They'll leave them alone. Why do you have Oba Fay sitting in NXT? If your build is you love people that look like Triple H, you just don't love people that look like Triple H and the shade of Mark Henry. It's like he too black to be there, to do it, to be the one, the number one, the man. Because you know why? We're going to go through this. We're going to run through this. If you don't listen, you don't listen. You know what? It's okay. But he's too good. He would show what a wrestler looks like, not a sports entertainer. Because remember, Vince McMahon banned that word, professional wrestling. WWE is not a professional wrestling company. You have sports entertainment saturating the market with sports entertainment. AEW is AEW. Hi, Yamcha. AEW is AEW. All Elite Wrestling. What is WWE? World Wrestling Entertainment. They've said this for decades. We are sports entertainment. We're not professional wrestling. So why? Why in the world are people talking about WWE is saturating the market, but they're not winning? They're just panicking. Triple H realized that AEW is not WCW. You just can't buy them out. And then now you see all of their videos in your archives. All right, let's go deeper. Let's go real deep. Who the fuck is paying $700 a year to watch WWE? Who is paying $700 a year to watch Seth Rollins talking about the vision? The vision. This is the vision. Right? And then say, I don't need nobody. It's all about me. And then Braun Breaker and Jeffrey Corner the Cobb are still there helping him. Can you explain the logic behind this for $700 a year? Can you explain why Nia Jax is in NXT? But I got to look at an aging, fake boob, had all of these fake lifts, Charlotte, every week? With Alexa Bliss, who used to be hot. She's not hot no more. You know, Alexa Bliss is the first woman in history I've seen that got pregnant and lost her booty and her hips. It just evaporated. She came out walking. You remember when she came out for the Royal Rumble? I was like, yeah. And then she came walking like, what happened to your booty? You was hot. I mean, Alexa Bliss was hot. She was fire. Where'd it go? She's the first woman I know that ever had a kid and got flat. She was good before, but now she's just a nostalgia act. Look, once again, look, what do we have? Alexa Bliss and Charlotte. Blonde on blue eyes, blonde on blue eyes. See, it's WWE's way. It's the American way. It's the universal way now. Yeah, you can shine. Why you think everything has its fake copy except White Castle? Why you think you'll never see a successful YouTube? Why you think not one person, not one black person has ever started a wrestling company? Why you think nobody black has ever owned a sports team? I'm talking about outright. Bought a stadium and had them renting from them. Hire. It's the game is so. It's like they threw the game in front of you, and we still went. For years, I remember clapping my hands for Stone Cold. For years, I remember clapping my hands for Alexa Bliss and The Rock and Charlotte 10 years ago and Paige. Yo, Paige is fire. I don't care what anybody say. Paige, I don't know. A night with Paige would be like amazing. Anyway, we watched it evolve. We watched Stephanie McMahon come out and say, this is women's wrestling evolving. And then they gave us Becky over. Becky coming out saying she's a man. Becky buried Bianca in 21 seconds. How does a woman call herself the EST but got beat the fastest in championship history? Back to this, why does my account have a label? It says transparency. Okay, so we're going to break this down because I went at WWE hard. My account may contain spam. You know why it says spam? Because it says, I've said in many different ways, including taking screenshots of notes, how come WWE refuses to put a black male champ? Even though we know right now, anybody listening, Montez Ford is the best person and Chad Gable on the whole roster right now on SmackDown and Raw. Montez Ford will never be a world champion. Chad Gable deadlifted Braun Strowman in a suplex. Chad Gable is amazing. He'll never be a world champion. Daniel Bryan was a world champion because of the Bellas. They won't bring Brie back because of Bryan Danielson. You see how petty they are? Look at how petty they are. They're petty. They're petty. They brought back AJ Lee, a woman who denounced WWE. They brought back CM Punk, a man who denounced WWE. But Cody Rhodes is champion. Roman Reigns was written off TV to be a part of a Street Fighter, so they had him go out in a stretcher. That was the best they could do? That was the best they could do. How come all the white guys get more rematch championship shots? Why is Sami Zayn a champion? Why is Sami Zayn the homeless feel-good story? Basically, Sami Zayn is the homeless version of Jelly Roll. Why is he a champion? There's no reason for Sami Zayn to be a champion right now. But you know what? They cheered for him. They yelled for him. They screamed. Why is Rhea Ripley getting 10 shots a year at the belt? Can somebody tell me that in the comments? How come Rhea Ripley gets 10 shots every year at the belt? I don't care if she loses. Why? Why is it that it seems like why does it seem like see in the 90s when drugs were just starting to take over the hood, they created this campaign called DARE. It was drugs are really everywhere. And all of these people got on TV and all they said was just say no. Just say no to drugs. It didn't matter until it affected their neighborhood. WWE, this doesn't matter until people stop going. And it showed. You got to look at Fightful Select and Wrestle Talk. None of these people say a word about this. They beat around the bush and they say things like, they hint at their champion and their skills. But they're not going to say, They ain't putting this black man on top because he black. That's why I got that strike. And WWE knows it. They see they got somebody watching everything that's posted or replied to them or about them. I see. That means I got somebody's attention. But you limited my post. So look at what it says. Look at the bottom. You may not engage in behaviors that manipulate or artificially impact how content is discovered and amplified. Isn't WWE doing that by putting "it was fire last night" for you to look at the thing? When WWE posts, they don't just put something mediocre. They put "it was a banger last night." Aren't they manipulating it? You see the double standard? WWE got a lot to protect. Billions and billions of dollars. And because just like rap music, just like movies, when most movies or shows you see the bald-headed black chick, they just keep giving in. They keep doing it. You know, let's talk about that. I was watching this show with my wife. My cat don't like me. Oh, I was watching a show with my wife about this hospital. There was 3 black women in that show. All 3 black women were bald-headed. Why is it that black people are shaving their head, or are they only being picked? Because they look that way. So now, once again, we're going to go back to WWE. We're going back to WWE. We're going to relive WWE again. WWE started in 1954. 1954, when black people wasn't even allowed to eat at restaurants. Black people were still sitting there getting beat up by dogs and cops in the street. The Black Panther Party was just beginning. Martin Luther King and the Civil Rights Movement really didn't begin yet. WWE thrived on old white men versus old white men to bring their white women, their white wives, their white kids, their white grandkids. WWE thrived in that era, and now you have to look at the correlation of WWE's fan base is what? What do they love? Look, let's go back and look at the top. Cody Rhodes, blonde-haired, blue eyes. Tiffy, blonde-haired, blue eyes. Sammy, blonde-haired, blue eyes, or ginger, blue eyes, whatever you want to say. The Wyatt Six, all white folk. And we already know Stephanie Valkyrie is going to win. Another white girl. There isn't a Negro in sight for that championship run. Not for this year. Not one. There isn't a half of one. They like LA Knight, 4 years that man been over. Nothing. They don't even treat their own. Tiffy has the fakest boobs in WWE, so men 30 to 50 years old love her. Did you see that girl without makeup on? She looked like a train hitting a pack of goats in the middle of the night, and you wake up to the massacre. This company has picked this course. This company has chosen. This is what they said is the best thing to do. What's the best thing to do? We're going to put AJ Lee. I need you to get this. AJ Lee, CM Punk, Brock Lesnar, he'll show up maybe twice for the rest of the year against AEW. I don't know one AEW fan that's going to sit there and say, yo, you got to turn off this show. I need to know what's going on in WWE. Remember, WWE doesn't like black people. WWE doesn't enjoy black people. But WWE likes to profit from black people. WWE left all of NXT in the hood, while SmackDown and Raw are corporate America. Remember when you work at a job, if anybody, this is not about black, what I'm saying right now, and you come in and they say, hey, what shift would you like to work? And most people say, I want to get the morning shift so I can get out of here early. I want to get the morning shift. I'm home by 2 o'clock. But what happens at 8 o'clock? You see corporate come in. What do you see? There don't be a minority in sight. And if he is, ooh, he don't like it. He don't like us. I worked at a job years ago where that same situation, there was one black dude. And out of that black dude, man, that muff avoided everybody black in the whole place. And he used to complain about the white folk, but he sure knew how to play the game to keep them happy with him. Sasha Banks didn't do that. Trinity did. Shelton and Bobby didn't do that. Booker T did. Mark Henry didn't do that. Well, Mark Henry did, because you have to look at Mark Henry. See, everybody black, every black man in there was ridiculed. And we're going to go back. Triple H, he did the monkey dance to Mark Henry. Black people kept going. White people said, hey, that's what we are. Then the Nation of Domination. Triple H comes out with a black wig on. This is all on YouTube with the black face. People lose their jobs. People have gotten kicked out of college and lost their careers for this. We still go and give that man money, and now he wants $700 a year. Number three, his father-in-law dropped the N-word in front of Booker T. Booker T didn't break his jaw. Yo, I've been in this prison for years and all that. But you cooned out, son. You Django'd. You pulled the Django. That dude in there. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Samuel Jackson, what he did. So now you got that, right? Bobby who? They joked on Bobby. Kofi, 21 seconds. Bianca, 8 seconds. Or is the other way around? See? You think they care? They care so much that they got Jacqueline as a white woman. Y'all have a good night.